Hello and welcome to the sixth day of our time together. I had to put out a message that said, I can't get to my broadcast equipment because we are doing a vinyl floor panel installation in our second story of our house where my office is and our living quarters, so to speak. And so everything was pushed to the side, and there was no way, unless I made myself extremely skinny, smashed up against the bookshelf, and barely got in the shot. And so I put the word out that we would be delayed, and so it'll be like a 12-hour delay. So we're coming at you at about 6:30 in the evening on Saturday evening. And so I'm sorry for those of you that make this your habit, and we're going to try to do better. This is a rare occasion, but it happens. So at any rate, let's just dive right in and look at meditations in Hebrews. And we'll jump right in. Hebrews 9:21 through 24. This one is another 4-verse chunk. We had one that was 5 and one that was 3. Averages four verses a day. In the same way, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and everything used in its ceremonies. So he's talking about the priest, the Aaronic priest, the one who would be ministering in the tabernacle and then the temple associated with Judaism. The inspired writer of Hebrews is talking to Hebrews that are Christians. One doesn't make the other, per se. So they are Hebrews that are Christians. And he's making a connection now. He sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and everything used in its ceremonies. It was required for the shedding of blood in order to sanctify those. In fact, the law requires that nearly everything be cleansed with blood. And without the shedding of blood, there is no forgiveness. This is an inherent part of the Hebrew law. In fact, it even predates the Hebrew law. It goes back to the law that was revealed to Adam. Evidently, because we have a problem with Abel offering sheep and their blood being spilt, but Cain bringing vegetables. And the squeezing out of chlorophyll isn't exactly a fulfillment of the covenant. And he becomes angry because his sacrifice is not acceptable. Why? Because it's the shedding of blood that's required. It's teaching humanity something about their sin and the need for a perfect sacrifice. Remember, it was John the Baptist who would say later than obviously Cain and Abel, and later than David, and still later than all of the Old Testament prophets, when he would see Jesus and say, "Behold, the Lamb of God which takes away the sin of the world." It was necessary then for the copies of the heavenly things to be purified with these sacrifices. So he's again bringing up this idea that the tabernacle, as revealed to Moses, built by Bezalel and Oholiab and a lot of anointed people empowered by the Spirit, that they were doing something that were copies of the heavenly things. And these things were set apart, made holy, so to speak, or purified with a blood sacrifice. The ashes of the red heifer, a certain mixture of blood and oil and different things were all necessary for the priest, for the articles of the tabernacle, and everything that was involved in the worship of Yahweh to be purified with sacrifices. But the heavenly things themselves, with better sacrifices than these. Wow. So it leaves open the door that basically, when you're considering the tabernacle and the temple and the rituals of sanctification or cleansing, You haven't seen anything yet, because we're about to see the Messiah, the Lamb of God, and he brings a better sacrifice. For Christ did not enter a sanctuary made with human hands. That was only a copy of the true one. So the tabernacle and the temple, at best, were an earthly copy of the true temple of God, which is, according to Revelation 15, in the heavens. Well, this was only a copy of the true one. And Christ did not enter that sanctuary made with human hands. In fact, as a member of the tribe of Judah, he could not go beyond the court of men. He could not go into the court of Levi. He could not go into the priesthood court. Only to the court of men. But now, what an irony, he entered heaven itself, now to appear for us in God's presence. What an amazing and excellent and powerful sacrifice he has made, and appearance he has made, not in an earthly tabernacle or temple, but in the temple of God in heaven. And he's appearing for us in God's presence. He stands as our great high priest, and he intercedes for us, and he prays for us, and he stands against the accuser of our soul, Satan, before God. And he always represents the perfect sacrifice that was made for us. He shed his blood to cleanse us not only from sin, but to also cleanse us from our consciousness of sin and restore us and make us completely new. What a great comparison. And aren't you glad we're on the better end of that stick? So, as you think about this today, meditate upon that. I trust that the Lord will stir something up that will challenge your spirit, bring life to you, and then overflow into your mind, your will, and the emotions, transforming and changing you from the inside out by his grace and for his glory. The Lord bless you. Grace and peace. We'll see you tomorrow as we complete Hebrews chapter 9.